How do you see it going?
Conor Benn learns the lessons from the first fight, and the lessons that he needs to learn is how to pace a fight over 12 rounds. He learns them lessons, he'll win this fight. And I think he will win. I think he'll win on points.
I just think Conor Benn, slightly better, slightly more improved, fitter, stronger, grown into the weight a bit against a slightly tarnished Chris Eubank Jr. Could.
Ben Eubank, I will go with Conor Benn.
He's going back down. That's his goal. That's his goal to be W.
So there's no trilogy in your eyes?
No.
Absolutely not?
No. I think after this fight, there won't be a trilogy anyway. I honestly believe that.
Do you see that fight happening, and do you think Ben won't get the better of Eubank?
I think Conor Benn beats.
I still think Eubank will still win. Will it be a closer fight? Possibly, but I still fancy Eubank Jr. too.
Well, I see a similar fight, not predicting the outcome because the fight was so close, but I do see a similar fight, although I think Conor might change his strategy, try to box Chris a little bit more.
The tide moves slightly over to Conor Benn a bit more because Chris Eubank will be the one who needs more time to recover than Conor Benn, because the younger man, the younger body, the fresher body recovers faster than the older body.
Chris Eubank Jr. in danger becomes even louder when a legend like Nigel Benn speaks with that kind of calm certainty. The pros can feel it too, and most of them are leaning toward Conor Benn this time. His shape, confidence, and mentality are sending a clear message to everyone watching.
But yeah, Conor's in good shape. It's not even like I'm worried about what Eubank. It's all about Conor to me. So it's not about me thinking, oh, he can do it.
When Conor Benn says he wants to come in heavy and stay at the weight he is, it tells you everything about his mindset. He is not concerned about what Chris does because he knows he is fighting a middleweight on his own terms. That confidence alone shifts the energy of this rematch.
Yeah, I mean, listen, obviously I'm a welterweight, but for this fight, I want to come in heavy and come in at the weight I am. Chris can do what he wants. I'm not concerned about him and what he does. Ultimately, I'm fighting a middleweight, so I'll come in.
Carl Frampton calling it revenge and backing. Conor Benn tells you how the tide has shifted. He knows the last fight was unbelievable, and that battles like that take something out of you. At Eubank's age, it takes even more, which is why the edge lies with Benn.
I say revenge. I think Conor Benn's going to beat Eubank this time. I feel like a fight. The last fight was unbelievable, but fights like that take something out of you, and at Eubank's age, it takes a little bit more out of Eubank than it does.
Paul Smith saying Conor Benn hurt him in that fight carries real weight because fighters know exactly what that kind of damage means. When Paul repeats that Eubank is done ever since the Liam fight, it exposes how long Chris has looked vulnerable. A fighter who gets hurt like that does not simply walk back fresh into a rematch against someone as explosive as Benn. Paul believing Benn has enough in there to do it shows how the confidence is shifting. These opinions do not come lightly, and they highlight the growing sense that Benn's pressure and timing will crack Eubank again.
I just think the way Conor Benn hurt him in that fight and could hurt him, I think Ben might have enough in there to do it, and I just think it's just because I just think Eubank's done, and I've said this since he fought.
Peter Fury saying Benn can do more highlights, that Conor Benn still has levels to show, while Eubank looked drained at that weight. His surprise that Eubank accepted the same weight again exposes a major weakness because the struggle to make weight showed clearly in their first clash. A fighter entering the ring already depleted will always be on the back foot. Benn learning from the first fight while Chris repeats the same risky approach shifts the balance. Even if Peter labels it a 50-50, his breakdown leans toward Benn having the sharper conditioning and the smarter tactical growth needed for victory.
Ben can do more, and he's going to learn from it, the first one. So, and Eubank looked drained at that weight. I'm surprised he's gone in again for the same weight, same rules, because you could see he looked like he was struggling to get to that weight, and it showed in there at times. So I think it's a 50.
Hamza Shiraz predicting Conor Benn to win inside 6 rounds shows he sees the same patterns repeating. The weight affecting Eubank again is a serious concern because the first fight already pushed Chris to the limit. A fighter who enters drained loses sharpness and timing early, which suits Benn perfectly. Hamza calling it a hard fight and not an easy fight points out that Eubank absorbed punishment last time. Doing that again while carrying the same physical disadvantages is a dangerous equation. Benn's explosiveness in the first half of a fight is exactly why a 6-round stoppage feels realistic.
What's your prediction, Ben or Eubank?
I've got Conor Benn to win inside 6 rounds. I feel like the weight will affect Eubank too much on how it affected him before as well. And it was a hard fight, it wasn't an easy fight.
Yeah, Conor Benn to win inside about 6.
Dave Coldwell saying he does not think Eubank can do a lot more at this stage speaks directly to the decline many experts have noticed. Going to the well again after such a demanding first fight feels unlikely for a fighter who has already shown physical wear. Dave admitting he would be amazed if Eubank repeated that effort underlines how much he had to dig last time. Ben thrives in fights that turn hard and chaotic, which puts even more pressure on Chris. Coldwell's tone suggests that Ben enters fresher, hungrier, and far more capable of repeating his intensity than Eubank.
And I don't think at this stage Eubank can do a lot more else. You know, he'll try and do what he did, you know, on fight night. It's whether he can go to the well again. I don't think so. If the fight becomes as hard and if it has the pace and ferocity of a first fight, I'd be very surprised and I'd be amazed if Eubank can do all that again.
Tony Bellew saying Conor is a far better fighter than Chris is a boxer cut straight to the truth of this rivalry. Eubank, believing he is a masterful boxer, has created a problem because his performances do not match that belief. Tony repeating "No, you are not" is blunt honesty from someone who knows the sport deeply. Ben's direct aggression and pressure clash with Eubank's misplaced confidence, and that plays in Ben's favor. Technical illusion cannot withstand real intensity, and Bellew highlighting that gap is a warning. Ben brings the kind of heat that forces a fighter to accept reality quickly.
I think Conor is a far better fighter than Chris Eubank Jr. is a boxer.
Technically, yeah.
And that's the problem that Chris Eubank Jr. is having. He's got this thing in his mind, he's a masterful boxer. No, you're not.
No.
I'm sorry, no, you're not.
He's been...
Duke McKenzie, praising the first fight as a great event, shows how much the atmosphere came from Ben's intensity and the rivalry itself. He highlights that even world title fights cannot match what these two created, which proves how emotionally charged this rematch already is. Duke, hoping for the same turnout, reflects how fans connected with Ben's energy. At the same time, Eubank feels the pressure because repeating such a demanding performance requires a level he may not reach again. Ben always rises with the crowd, and Duke's words remind everyone that Ben created the spark that lifted the entire arena.
Yeah, like I say, the fight wasn't a letdown because it was a good fight, but as an event, you won't get a better event than that, and they'll have to go some actually to surpass that, or even equal that. Let's just hope they get the same turnout in terms of the numbers, people going through the live gate and watching that fight, because it was a great event. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes. You won't get world title fights that actually are a better event.
Chris Eubank Jr. talking about going to war for 12 rounds underlines his mindset, but also exposes the limits he is acknowledging. He knows the crowd loves drama, but he subtly admits that enduring another grueling battle may not be realistic. Fighting Conor Benn is not just a physical challenge, but a mental and tactical one. Ben's relentless pace, power, and ability to capitalize on small mistakes mean Eubank cannot rely on last fight experience alone. The mention of overtime highlights how taxing it would be to keep up with Benn for 12 rounds. Experts and insiders see this honesty as a signal that Benn holds the psychological edge heading into the rematch, as Chris seems aware that pushing past his peak could backfire.
Easy, but it's funny because my job is to go out there and stop this guy. Going to war for 12 rounds, which people love to see, it may not happen. You know, we don't get paid for overtime. Either way, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a fun fight.
Ade Oladipo making it clear that the bigger guy won last time shines a light on Conor Benn's growth and potential advantage. Realizing that he can hurt Eubank and feeling the power of the other fighter gives Ben a crucial tactical insight. The rematch is not just a repeat, it is a chance to capitalize on lessons learned and apply them more effectively. Eubank's age and the toll previous fights have taken mean he may struggle to match Ben's energy and sharpness for the full duration. Ade's prediction that Ben has a shout to win it and could even push for a world title highlights the momentum now clearly swinging towards him. Tottenham will feel that energy in the rematch, and fans can expect Conor to step up even further.
Ultimately, in the end, sort of bigger guy won it. The rematch is going to be interesting, I think. He's now realised that I can hurt that fighter. I've felt the other fighter's power. Next time, I know what's coming. I think he might even do better in the next one. Yeah, I think he's got a shout to win it.
And Eubank's older.
I get these fights, but you do want to see Ben. Can you kick on to try and win a...
Gareth A. Davies noting that Eubank might win on points again demonstrates that he expects a competitive bout, but his focus is on how Conor Benn can take control. Ben needs to turn it into a dogfight, a rough house brawl that favors his pressure, aggression, and power. Eubank may try to impose his jab early, and Bomac in the corner strengthens his tactical support. Yet Ben thrives in chaotic, physical exchanges where his speed and combination punching overwhelm opponents. Observers recognize that Ben, learning from the last fight, gives him a subtle but decisive advantage. The fight may look close on paper, but the rough, relentless style Ben brings could easily tilt rounds in his favor as he pushes the pace and exploits every opening Eubank leaves.
I think Eubank on points again, 7 rounds to 5, 8 rounds to 4, which is what I had it first time. I think Conor Benn's got to make it a dog fight, make it a roughhouse brawl again. But I think Eubank will start with that jab very strong. He's got both.
George Groves, reflecting on the emotional high Eubank experienced after the first fight, highlights a key psychological factor. While Eubank enjoyed a historic moment headlining the stadium and beating a rival, it also shows that he may have already peaked emotionally and physically. Groves warns subtly that Chris looks past his prime, which is critical insight for anyone analyzing this rematch. Conor Benn, on the other hand, remains in full hunger mode, chasing momentum, focus, and revenge. He knows exactly what it takes to push older or drained fighters past their limits. The contrast between Benn's growing confidence and Eubank's past achievements sets up a rematch where Benn is expected to take full advantage of both the physical and mental edges.
I think maybe Conor Benn beats him. I think if I was Eubank, my point was at the time, I was like, mate, like you have just climbed your Everest. You've just headlined a stadium. You've beat what is now a rival in spectacular fashion in terms of getting the win with your dad by your side and all the hooting and hollering that went on amongst it. You can't top that feeling. I don't begrudge you if you want to earn more money out of the sport, but be careful because you look way past his best.
The rematch between Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. is shaping up to be one of the most compelling fights of the year, with everything at stake for both men. Conor Benn comes in sharper, heavier, and hungrier than ever before, having learned from the first encounter and now fully aware of the power he can unleash. Eubank Jr. faces the challenge of repeating a performance that already pushed him to the limits while battling the toll of age and previous wars. The experts, legends, and insiders are increasingly leaning toward Benn, not just because of skill, but because of mental strength, confidence, and tactical growth. Every round will be a test of who wants it more, and Benn's relentless pressure and ability to punish openings give him a clear edge. If Eubank manages to win, it will be a masterclass in resilience, but if Benn shocks the world, it will confirm his rise to the next level and set him firmly on the path to world titles. Are you backing Conor Benn, or do you think Chris Eubank Jr. can pull the upset? Drop your thoughts below and join the debate.